The Shadowlord. You know, I've tried to find a video about the lore and explain the Shadowlord, though the game makes it sort of self-explanatory. However, still there's no video explaining the Shadowlord, or at least to do what I could find searching up. However, still there is no video explaining the Shadowlord, at least to what I could find searching it up. So this video is going to explain NieR Replicant Shadowlord. The story you definitely probably knew. Now, you know the Shadowlord to be the main antagonist of NieR Replicant. Or is he? As Yoko Taro once said in an interview, he wants us the players to determine who in the end really is doing good. Or at least I heard that from another YouTube video. You just have to take my word on it, I think. We're gonna watch all this. You know, I have to explain nothing to you. The point is that the Shadowlord is doing no worse than you, the Replicant Nier. But my god, am I getting way too ahead of myself here. We know that the Shadowlord is a Gestalt, and he is the only one that has a sapience even after the soul-body separation happened. But it is important to understand how humans turn to replicants and Gestalts. We're going way back to Drakengard to a man named Cain and a dragon named Angelus, who joined forces to fight crime. Or just make worse war crimes, cause you know, that works too. And if you hoard weapons and go to page 36, they fight a giant baby and emerge victorious and then get shot down by a fighter jet. Now, what does this have to do with NieR? Well, that giant baby is apparently a god from the Drakengard world, and when you obliterate a god, fragmented parts of it get everywhere, as can be seen in the prologue of NieR Replicant, as that snow is the fragments of it. Or maybe it is snow. It's probably a mixture of both, I would assume, but people have been debating it over the comment section, so I'm not even going to really try. Or with the particles of Maso infecting humans with a disease, forcing them to literally become the servants of the god from that dimension. This would turn them into giant powdered babies, known as the Legion, and if you refuse, you are turned into salty dust. Yay. This disease that killed many is known as the White Chlorination syndrome, which would try to be fixed by Project Gestalt using magic, which is where we enter NieR. The solution to the White Chlorination syndrome is Project Gestalt, where humans and dogs would separate their bodies from souls, which the body being known as the Gestalt, and the souls of the humans would later become to be known as Shades. And for some reason we're not told how this stops the virus. And from here on out, souls would stay out of the sun, and fleshy, soulless bodies go out. Oh my god, that's horrible. Okay. Now from here on out, souls would stay out of the sun, and their fleshy, soulless bodies would go out about their everyday lives until the virus is over. So that someday, everyone can go back and reunite and become whole again. And the key to the whole process that will bring humanity back together again is none other than NieR, which you know him as the Shadowlord. Or both. So now for a bit of Shadowlord's backstory. The Shadowlord was originally the human NieR who you play as at the beginning of the game. And NieR and Yona got trapped in Shinjuku, Tokyo when the lockdown commenced. NieR would then go to a charity organization to help Yona with her black scrowl. The organization would give necessities to help the survivors, the Black Book. The charity organization was actually an experiment to find the original Gestalt who can keep their sapience even after going through the Gestalt process. Those 12, however, lost their sanity and turned into crazed, relapsed Gestalts, better known as Shades. NieR would later take Yona to take refuge in a supermarket. However, the Shades found them, and overwhelmed, NieR was forced to go back to Grimoire Noir. Yona would then go on to touch the Black Book, and this started her Gestalt to relapse. NieR was then found as the original Gestalt, as he was the only one who could use the book and was unaffected. The organization would then find NieR to be the lead in Project Gestalt's success. The Lost Vessels and the Red Sky reads, he was kept in solitary confinement and was under constant surveillance by the organization. For 5 years, NieR allowed them to do any experiments as long as they could find a cure for Yona and her black scrowl. Though the human race had come this far, science still had its limits for any cure from the black scrowl. A compromise was then struck that after 1,000 years, humanity was optimistically projected to have their souls back in their replicant bodies. The bottom line was that they promised to have Yona cured at the end of all this. This promise itself is what motivated NieR to agree and wait 1,000 years. Alas, both parties understood that if they failed to keep their promise, NieR would rebel. And rebel he did indeed. As we know from Project Gestalt, NieR's soul was separated from his body. This bodiless shade was later named the Shadowlord, and Mao in Japanese, which means devil, which I find to be pretty ironic since he was quite the opposite. The goal of the Shadowlord is the same as the one of Replicant NieR that we play as in the game. Cure Yona from the Black Scrowl and save humanity. After the organization had broken their promise, the actions of the Shadowlord formed from here on out. The The Shadowlord leaves after 1,000 years go by, and he raises an army. The Shadowlord, then giving into his loneliness, lies Gestalt Yona in his castle, where he plans an attack on Replicant Nier's village to get Replicant Yona back. Shadowlord's first in-game appearance is when he raids Nier's village using the Jack of Hearts as his diversion. As shades destroy the village, Replicant Nier defeats Jack of Hearts, but is then ambushed by the Shadowlord. Both Nier and Vice were held back by Grimoire Noir's power, and the Shadowlord kidnaps Replicant Yona in the library. Once back at his castle, Shadowlord gives Gestalt Yona back to her replicant body. This marks the time when Replicant Nier wants his vengeance on the Shadowlord. He was fully aware that his replicant counterpart was going to come to get Yona back. This was a part of his plan though. He wanted his replicant bodies to be claimed by him, so he would finally be able to reunite with his Yona when she woke up. However, something went wrong. Horribly wrong. As Nier and Grimoire Vice bested the Shadowlord in combat, severely wounding and powerless to stop Yona, or at least Gestalt Yona, who would end up committing suicide right in front of him. Giving up the will to live and being completely clueless on what he should do next, the Shadowlord lets Replicant Nier put him out of his misery, as he goes on to reunite with Yona in the afterlife. And our friends that helped out Replicant Nier now doomed humanity. As I said at the beginning, the Shadowlord is indeed the one who's going to bring everybody back together in the end, and we kind of just killed him. So, yeah. But hey, at least everyone's happy in the end, right? Yeah. And this is the conclusion to the story of the Shadowlord. Explained that you definitely, probably didn't know. Thank you all so much for watching and making it to the end of the video. If you guys leave a like, it would be highly appreciated by me, because this video did take me a bit of time to make, and if you want more NieR content, do be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I've got a few other NieR videos and content on the channel as well for you guys to go and check out. Thank you guys all for watching this video. Make it a good day, and God bless. I love all of you.